Denver just had its coldest day since May. The metro area experienced a 50-degree temperature swing. Dogs are happy, everyone's happy. We went from a record high of 102 all the way down to 52 degrees this morning. That same cold front that's bringing in the cooler air, it's a great thing, is also dragging in wildfire smoke. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Kim Christensen.
Don't like the weather? Wait 5 minutes. And I'm Phil Lipoff. It's not just the dramatic temperature swing topping our weather headlines, but at this hour we are also following a new fire start in the mountains, and that's part of the problem. The Jackson County Sheriff's Office says the fire started north of Kremling earlier tonight. First responders are calling it the Indian Creek Fire. At this point, we don't know how many acres it's burned or what started it. We do know it's prompted some evacuations. Take a look at this map. Anyone in the red area south of Highway 14 is being told to leave now. People in the yellow area are being told to gather essentials and to be ready to evacuate. The fire started just hours before we expected elevated fire danger in the mountains and foothills. I want to turn now to Chief Meteorologist Kathy Sabin. Kathy, this is of course what we've been worried about, and with the cooler temperatures, that smoke then comes in. Even with the cooler temperatures, this is still a problem.
It is. We enjoyed a break from the heat today, and it's western Colorado that's been dealing with the triple-digit highs, humidity values in the single digits, and now another fire weather warning. This goes out tomorrow for that area in Jackson County where that new fire has started. They have not seen a reprieve from the heat like we have, with triple digits out across the western slope compared to our lower 70s here in Denver. An average high this time of year is actually in the upper 80s, and we were 102 degrees for the last 2 days, 73 today, and that is a almost 30-degree cool down. And we're already looking at temperatures that have come down even more. 59 degrees currently in Denver. If it wasn't for the smoke and haze around the area, this would be amazing sleeping weather to leave the windows open, but we're 15 to 20 degrees cooler this hour than we were at this point yesterday, but it's all about the smoke and the haze. We're going to see a little bit of a break in that really dense smoke plume tomorrow. One more round of it coming through on Thursday, and then hopefully we'll be done. But an air quality alert remains in effect, not just for Denver, but the entire state, for that wildfire smoke. We're tracking some isolated gusty thunderstorms, but these storms have wind and lightning and not the beneficial rain that we would love to see. And so this will be a trend for us heading into tomorrow when temperatures come back up into the 80s. So weather headlines include the cool down today and tomorrow ahead of a warm weather trend just in time for the weekend. I'll have those details.
We're getting a glimpse at what the area around the proposed Broncos stadium may look like.
The team released new renderings of the future Burnham Yard site today. 9 News reporter Rachel Krause joins us now. And Rachel, those renderings include a glimpse at the area's past as well.
Yeah, they're finding ways to include the old locomotive shop and turntable pit into plans for the site. Historic Denver says they're happy to see the history included in the team's plans, but stress that doesn't end at the property line. For decades, Denver's Burnham Yard was a community hub.
This is one of the most historic parts of Denver. For a city that really owes its existence to the railroad, this is kind of ground zero.
Historic Denver CEO John Deffenbaugh says the historic train yard is securing a spot in the city's future as the site of the future Denver Broncos stadium.
Burnham Yard's history is so storied, but what's more important is the future in front of it. And for one of Denver's most recognized brands to be locating in one of the city's most historic places.
The team released renderings for Burnham Yard, preserving the rail yard's history.
Well, I hope they do, because I like all the graffiti and everything that's around here, you know?
Absolutely. It's what makes us special.
Historic Denver's really encouraged that the Broncos intend to keep the locomotive shed and the historic turntable pit. But what's really important is the intangible cultural history, and that the voices of the local community are heard.
Deffenbaugh says the future stadium will be built next to La Alma Lincoln Park, Sun Valley, and Baker, neighborhoods that helped build the railway up 100 years earlier. He hopes the city and the team work to build Burnham Yard back in a way that fits the neighborhood.
Because while it's going to be designed largely for Broncos country and attract people from across the region and across the state, which is of course important, what's really important are the people surrounding this site, because they're going to be the ones affected on a day-to-day basis.
People here know the neighborhood will change.
Yeah, I think it is, but It is what it is, I guess, you know.
We love how much investment is going into this area that's otherwise not being used.
With the light rail rushing past, change is already here.
Mama, Cargill!
Right there, buddy.
Hi, Cargill!
Say hi, Choo Choo.
Hi, Cargill!
Defenbaugh says balancing the old and the new in the neighborhood will be key in keeping both the stadium and Denver's history on the same track.
It takes time, it takes attention to detail, it takes listening.
With the neighborhood that built the historic Burnham Yard now at risk for gentrification and displacement because of the new plans, Defenbaugh says he wants to see the city and the Broncos working together to find a way to preserve both the history and the neighborhood. The new stadium and surrounding neighborhood development is slated to open by 2031. Reporting live in Denver, Rachel Krause, 9 News.
Nearly 3 months into a labor dispute, the employee lockout at the Cargill beef plant in Fort Morgan is dragging on. Last night, union workers voted 749 to 724 to reject the latest tentative agreement that the company and union reached last week. Both sides plan to continue negotiations as 1,700 people remain unable to work there.
The thing I'm worried about is that some people are not going to go to the doctor because they're like, I can't afford this. They're going to miss things that they probably shouldn't have because they need to go to the doctor. There's a lot of fog in the future, there's a lot of mist, we don't know where we're going, but we still have that camaraderie and group to get us through it, I think.
Neither side has disclosed the details of the rejected contract offer. Union officials say originally Cargill was offering a $2.15 per hour raise over 5 years.
A federal judge here in Denver has rejected the Trump administration's attempts to get its hands on personal voter information. Last year, the Department of Justice asked Colorado Secretary of State to turn over unredacted voter data, including names, addresses, driver's license numbers, and partial Social Security numbers. The feds have made similar requests in other states. They say it's an attempt to ensure election integrity. Democratic Secretary of State Jenna Griswold refused. She said it would violate the law and said that she's concerned the Trump administration would use the information for immigration enforcement. The DOJ sued, claiming the feds should be able to access the voter information under the Civil Rights Act. This week, a federal judge dismissed the DOJ's lawsuit. He found the feds didn't provide sufficient explanation for why they needed that sensitive voter information and that those specific records are not, in fact, part of the Civil Rights Act.
A former Parker police sergeant is waiting to learn his punishment after pleading guilty to charges stemming from allegations he sexually assaulted someone while on duty. Troy Brienzos entered a guilty plea this week to an unlawful sexual conduct by a police officer and official misconduct charges. An indictment claims he assaulted a member of the department's Explorer program. That gives young people ages 14 to 21 a chance to experience a career in law enforcement. He's accused of asking a young woman for sexual favors during a ride-along and groping her while she was restrained during a training pat-down exercise, among other things. The indictment also claims he had previously had a sexual relationship with another member of the Explorer program. Parker police say they placed him on administrative leave in January after learning of the allegations, and he resigned while the criminal investigation was going on. His sentencing is set for October.
The Boulder County Sheriff's Office is the latest agency on the Front Range moving to make emergency alerts more clear-cut. It's just launched High-Low. Jefferson, Clear Creek, and Douglas counties already use this system, which allows patrol cars, as you heard, to broadcast audio messages. They tell people whether to stay inside, prepare to evacuate, or leave immediately. The idea is to get whatever message they need out as quickly as possible. It grew out of lessons learned from past disasters.
The U.S. Supreme Court will kick off its new term by hearing a case out of Colorado. In 2018, the city and county of Boulder sued Suncor and ExxonMobil. They argued the companies misled the public about the dangers of climate change and that they should cover millions of dollars in damages attributed to climate-related disasters like fires and floods. Attorneys for the companies have argued harms related to climate change should be regulated at the federal level. Oral arguments are scheduled for October 5th.
A live look from Denver now, where our air quality is taking a hit as we speak, and the wildfire smoke that has been pouring into our state will likely impact the foreseeable future. Right now, according to IQ Air, the air quality in Denver ranges from moderate to unhealthy for sensitive groups, and it is supposed to stay around that level through at least this weekend. It was a party at a senior living community in Estes Park tonight.
The cops and other first responders were there, not to break it up, but to build relationships with the community they serve. 9 News photojournalist Will Hicks takes us there.
I spoke to several of the residents who said, my room looks over the parking lot and we see the ambulances here all the time.
We may see a light. I do have a room that faces the front.
They worry about who it is and what's going on.
Most of us will probably say a prayer for whoever it is that they're coming to get.
They're here often.
This is our time that we can go down and let them know that we're appreciated.
Here, the policemen want to get your mug shot.
Normally when we come here, we have a mission to complete and we don't have a lot of time to meet.
Why don't we honor them? They're here when we need them.
I've really had a great time just talking to folks and finding out about them.
I really appreciate you guys, and it's great to have you here with us.
We sure appreciate that, Ken. Thank you.
Yes.
Me too, ditto.
We like seeing you in these situations.
Yeah, it's better this way than stretched out on the floor.
It's a community here. The ambulance service and the fire department and law enforcement are all part of that big community.